why you should never stop using your credit card. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode at Novarise Invest, your channel for financial education. So today will be another episode about credit cards, right? There's always a good moment to talk about credit and how to build it and how to continue to preserve it. And today's episode was created to address a couple of comments that I've been seeing throughout the channel about people being afraid of credit or people having a credit card and just simply not using it because in their minds, they're thinking, well, if I don't have to use it, then there's less debt. And if I don't have to use it, that means I don't need to worry about it. But if you're in that position and where you're looking to buy real estate, you're trying to buy a home, or you're trying to get a loan to buy a car, then this is something that you should really pay attention to, because having a strong credit will help you not only achieve that goal, that financial goal of closing on a home or closing on a car purchase, but it will also help you get access to better interest rates. So for those who were thinking about, hey, if I don't use it, then I don't have to get into debt, think about it twice, because you could be hurting your credit more than you think. So today's episode is to help you understand why you need to constantly be using your credit card for the improvement of your credit and also to help you build credit. So let's get started. Before we start, let me remind you to subscribe to this channel and hit the notifications button. So the short answer to the question why you should never stop using your credit card, it's very simple. If you don't use it, right, you will lose it, right? You snooze, you lose. But things go beyond that. You shouldn't have the thinking that, well, you know, if I lose the credit card, if the bank closes it because I'm not using it, hey, it's better for me because less things for me to maintain. No, things don't work that way. And let me show you why. So let's say this is your wheel of your FICO score, right? Impressive, my drawing skills, I know. We're just going to do a bit of a breakdown here so you can understand what makes up your FICO score. So you have 30% here that belongs to the amount that you owe, okay? And then 35% over here has to do with your payment history. How punctual you are with your monthly payments. Do you always pay on time? Then over here, we have a 10% that belongs to new credit. And then somewhere over here, you have a 15% making up your FICO score, and it has to do with the length of your credit. How long have you had your credit for? And then over here, we're talking about a 10% credit mix. What type of credit you have? Do you have just credit cards, or do you have maybe a credit card and then you have some car loans and then some business loans, right? You name it, right? And when, let's say, for example, you have a credit card and you're not using it and the bank closes it, there are multiple components here in your FICO score on this wheel here that's going to be impacted just by the simple fact of having your credit card closed. So let me give you an example. So let's say you have a couple of credit cards and they all amount to $10,000, right? And let's say that as of today, you have spent approximately $3,000. And that will place you at the 30% utilization rate, right? So typically banks like to see that you're using your credit card, but they want you to stay at 30% or under. And I want to clarify something else with this, because a lot of people think that by 30%, they mean by, oh, you cannot use more than 30%. You can use, if you want, up to the full amount of your credit card. However, the banks will like to see you paying that balance down to at least 30% down. So if you're using $10,000, the full $10,000, you have to pay by the end of the month at least $7,000 so you can bring that utilization down to $3,000, which is the equivalent of $30,000. Okay? So let's say, for example, you have a car that it's an old one, it doesn't give you any points whatsoever, and you find that car to be boring and you just stop using it for whatever reason, right? And, the bank one day decides to do an analysis and decides to look into the files in each and one of their customers. And they're saying, hey, well, John Doe over here is not using their credit line the way they're supposed to. Why don't we take this available credit line from these credit cards and we reassign them to someone who will use it? Let's say, for example, me. Lucelia is going to use the available amount of money that John Doe is not using. And so basically they're going to come in and they're going to close John Doe's credit card. And that means that now, after having his credit lines closed, he is down to a $5,000 available credit line to be used. However, his debt has not changed, meaning he still owes $3,000 here. And that means that his new credit utilization is now 60%. Not good. You definitely do not want to go above 30%. And that means that this section right here, which makes up 30% of your FICO score, it's already impacted just because you decided to not use the credit card and just leave it there down in the back burner, and the bank came in and took it away. Now, this is not the only section that is impacted by your lack of use in your credit card. There's another section right here. But before we do that, if you're enjoying this episode, do not forget to hit the like button right here so you can help this episode rank and help others like you looking for information of this kind. This one, it's also impacted. For example, let's say that John Doe, before with his credit lines of $10,000, that his credit history length was 10 years. Not bad, right? So 10 years of good behavior, 10 years of showing timely payments and yada yada. And all of a sudden, because the bank came in and closed down that credit card, now his credit history dropped down to 4 years because, I don't know, we're using the example of like the oldest car who had no points whatsoever. And now he got rid of 6. Well, not he, but like the bank helped him get rid of 6 years worth of credit history because they all went down to 4 because of the simple fact that the bank came in and closed his credit cards. So if you add up all of these numbers, just by the simple fact of not using the credit cards and letting the bank close your credit lines, now you're impacting your credit by 30% plus the 15 here, 45% just by that simple step. And 45% on the negative side, okay? We're not talking about a 45% improvement just because of what I just explained to you right here. Now, I know there's some people out there who might be worried, thinking, well, but I don't like to be in debt. I definitely don't want to risk it. I'm so afraid. Well, there are simple steps that you can do to get used to the usage of credit cards. And that's just simply shifting the type of payment that you use to pay for your daily expenses. So let's say, for example, groceries, maybe gas, maybe your phone bill and stuff like that. So if you're the kind of person who typically uses cash or your debit card or your debit account to pay for groceries or gas or phone, maybe this time around, you should shift it around and use some of your credit cards to start paying for these daily expenses or monthly expenses. And then with the money that you would have used to buy these services or these products, you use that money and you use that to pay the credit cards instead. So the benefit of this, aside from building a stronger credit and showing that you're responsible and that you know how to utilize credit, also translate into additional money for you, because most of the credit cards available in the market out there now offer points. So the more you spend on those credit cards, the more points you accumulate, and you can actually cash those points into actual money that you can use to pay for your credit card. For those who are brand new to the channel and have no idea what I'm talking about, here's the episode that I'm referring to, and I created that a couple of months ago, and you can definitely check it out after we're done with this episode, of course. And that was only one golden nugget, one tip that you can implement right away to start building that strong credit that you have. But if you're relatively brand new to the channel, or maybe you're relatively brand new to the subject of credit, or maybe you have good credit, but you want to improve it even more, why not? Whatever your situation is, I want to invite you to check out this playlist on the side that I've created throughout the years in our channel, and it has tons and tons of content regarding credit. So make sure you check it out, and I'll be seeing you in the playlist. Take care. Bye-bye.